yeah. In the book, I also address Churchill Boys High School. It's the high school I went to. My welcome to Churchill Boys House when I was 12 years old, 12 and a half years old, was being punched as hard as possible by an 18-year-old rugby player sending me flipping and getting up from that. And this happened about 6 times over, and then hearing this sound, and then getting my ass kicked by about 20 other people. So this was my reality for about 3 years. Some people at Churchill Boys High School say that this made them men. Fuck that. This was abuse of the highest level. I remember they used to get us in the hall and be like, "You worthless piece of shit. That is bullshit." So in the book, I explained to my on board that I don't expect them to be as hardened as I am, because I'll never let them go through that. Never. Let them fight. I never let them go through that. That was abuse, straight up. I left me with a psychological scar. And people wonder where the violence in me comes from. It's Churchill Boys High School, man. Like, we used to collide in Zimbabwe. It's not New Zealand. It's back in Zimbabwe. And I remember this one time there was a fight in Zimbabwe between 2 schools, shut down the city. It was Prince Edward and Alan Wilson, I think it was. So yeah, that's the kind of violence that if I had a child in New Zealand, they'll never have to face. I don't expect them to be as hard as I am. This is completely different. So, oh yeah, and in the book I say this a lot. Real talk is real talk. It's real talk. So, when you read it, you get to go there. And yeah, I'm very anti-bullying, and that's another reason why we're reaching out to Youthline. There are a lot of kids out there. It's trolling, internet bullying. I don't know what that's about. It would never affect me, but I feel sorry for those people being affected by it. I got real bullied, like my ass kicked. So it's different dynamic. Somebody said something about me on the internet, I wouldn't be too worried about it. And in the book, it definitely addressed sexuality, black sexuality. It's a prudent topic in the book. It's because the more I interact with people who've never really interacted with an African or black male, the more I realize they have this persona or imagery of us, of what we're supposed to be, and it's not cool. Social media and movies have personified us a certain way, and it creates an unhealthy place for some of us individually. I'm just me, I'm crazy, so it helps. And in the book, I definitely share some of the secrets. I haven't figured out what being a man is. I think that's a lifetime process. But there are some things I have figured out. And one of the biggest things I've shared in the book, and I've had the pleasure of going out to Mariah's and speaking with young men, is stripping yourself of ego. It's like way too much ego going on, and your life will become a lot less painful if you strip yourself of ego. That's my personal opinion. One of my friends from high school reached out to me and they got to read snippets of the book on my blog, so thank you to everybody who's been on the blog. And he was like, "Gerald, you're putting the pussy on a pedestal," or whatever that means. It's a African-American colloquial term for putting women way up here. I always remind people I was raised by my mom, so I have the highest respect for women. And growing up, I saw women go through atrocities. And my personal belief, as a man, I will go to war for a woman. Every woman in my life knows that. Every woman in my past knows that. If I'll go to war for them, that's one thing. But I think as men in society, we have let our women down in such a terrible way. And I think that, we just definitely have to have better schooling for the young men so that they treat the women better, and not treat them as objects but as partners, and get to a good mental health place. Having mentioned mental health, we've been going around trying to campaign so that I personally believe that men in New Zealand are not in a good place when it comes to mental health. I'm not insulting anybody. It's just something I observed. And there's a lot of that Peter Pan syndrome that I spoke about going on. And I think it would be good if the government actually invested in helping men with their mental health. That'd be a good aspect. It's one of the things I share in the book to my unborn. What keeps me in a good mental health place is my prayer life. That's it. My prayer life keeps me in a good mental health. It's like a buffer. Some people think I'm talking to myself. No. I'm constantly in a state of prayer. I'm always talking to God. Whatever life throws at me, I throw at God. That's just my dynamic. Having said that, I'd like to thank TD Jakes. I've never met TD Jakes, but approximately 12 years ago, I bumped into his readings and philosophies and sermons, and I adopted him as a spiritual father. So without him, a lot of the book wouldn't have been possible as well. A lot of the stuff that I picked up from him really changed the dynamic of my life and how I write and how I see things and my relationship with God. So thank you, Mr. TD Jakes, wherever you are in Texas. That's me.